Good evening, guys. Today we're gonna switch the thermostat. The former mechanic he put in 160 Fahrenheit one, and it should actually be in 195. So I'm going to put the 195 back now because that's the specified one, and I'm going to try to do this as easy and simple as possible. I don't want to take apart the entire engine, removing the fan and these belts and stuff. As probably many of you already know, the thermostat is sitting down here, located just under the belt. But there are only two screws holding it in place, and it's this one up here, and there's another one down there. And now you could put the tension of the band and remove all these things, but I think that you can do this without removing all this stuff around. And if I just drain it a bit on cooling fluid, and then I remove this one and this one, then you should basically be able to get this thermostat housing off. Just pop it off, get it out, clean it, and then put the new, well, remove the thermostat and put the new one in, and then mount it back again. So first thing I will do is to open up this cap over here, and I will drain the radiator a bit. You see the twist over there? That's the cap. That's the one we're going to open. So I'm just going to twist that. So there we go. You don't need to open it all the way. Just twist it half a turn and then it opens up. You see now it's coming down. So in about 15-20 seconds, it's gone down about 2 centimeters. So that's like, well, if you're looking at it, it's probably going to be, I need to drain it below the engine level. Try to run it safe and fill up as much as I can in the bucket. So now it's only this one down here and this one up here to get the upper radiator hose off. And then it's this one down here. And now I drain the radiator, so it's actually easier to access this one right from here. It's closed again, and this is how much you get out. And this one, first one, just slides off. So now I've taken off the hoses, and as you can see, this one just slide off, and it's the same down there. They're not sitting hard at all. I'll just place them over here. This one is the second one, came off straight away. When you open it up, it looks like this, the inside, and it doesn't look very good. But if I take my finger, it seems that it's like corrosion on the walls, but it's not coloring anything. So I'm just going to wipe this clean and then remove it. These are the two bolts that we're talking about. This is the top one, and it's a 1/2 inch socket. Let's see the other one. This one down here. You need one of these small wrenches, because otherwise, oh, that one's tough. The previous mechanic has definitely tightened this one too hard. You only want to torque these ones to 14 or 13 foot-pounds or 17 Newton meters. That's about the torque according to the instruction manual. Yeah, this one was sitting very tough. Extended the shaft, and now it seems to give after. It's a bit worrying when you do mechanic work yourself after you had it left into a shop and you find out that all the bolts are bolted in at maximum higher or even higher torque values than supposed to according to instruction manual, and at the same time you find that all the threads are full of silicone. You should always remember that when you use a sealant or silicone, you shouldn't torque the ball bolts to their true torque values. You should go about 25% lower to avoid that you get too much of pressure on your threads, and otherwise you might blow your threads in the block, and then you're up with one of these recoiling or putting in a new thread into your block. But there we go, now both of the bolts are out, and there's a significantly longer one on the top as compared to the one on the bottom. See, this was sitting very easy. It just fell off, and you see these are traces of the old paper gasket you see there, and you have sealants, black sealants, probably Permatex, around it. What can we say about this? There's been a huge amount of sealant put in here. I'm going to try to get that off, but it doesn't seem to have blocked the function of the thermostat. But what do I see? I see it's blocked the upper burp hole of the thermostat. So you see, this might be one of the reasons why I had a heating problem, because the hole that needs to be up to be able to burp your engine from air in the cooling system was completely sealed by sealant. I've zoomed in a bit now and I'll show you this hole here. That's supposed to be free. This was completely covered by the silicone, and it's up there. So this is what you got to think about when you put in the sealant around your thermostat housing, that you can't have it pouring down so it blocks the hole here. There it came. Yeah, right, this is what it looks like. So before I continue now, I'm gonna take a piece of paper or a rag. I'm gonna put that into the hole to avoid that I get any of this dirt that I will shave off. Cleaning the flange. So when I take this one out later on, then all the possible dirt on the edges will go out with this piece of paper. So now this is just going to be cleaned up. I've scraped off most of it now, so I'm just taking a little bit of fine sandpaper to get the last previous glue off. And here you can see the cleaned up surface. This is where the new gasket's gonna go. Now I'm gonna prepare the other part. So now I've cleaned up the surface of the thermostat housing, and as you can see, when you're working with these 30-year-old surfaces of the aluminum, you have unavoidably a lot of scratches in here. But what's worth keeping in mind, and what one can learn from this video, is that if you take too much of sealant on your gasket, and this is the gasket, it goes on right on here like this, it's going to squeeze out on the inside and possibly block your burp hole. So what needs to be kept in mind is that you just need enough of this gasket maker to fill up these scratches, and that's not much. That's basically just a thin layer on your gasket. And that's all you need on there, nothing more. Now I'm just going to position the gasket over the holes. And this is just a normal piece of paper. I'm actually made a couple of templates. I will show that as a stick in here, so I have some reserve for the future. But you see here, when this is sitting like this and you press a little bit, then all the air goes out in between the gasket and the sealant, and there's nothing sipping in on the inside that will block your thermostat burp hole. And when you press it, you can actually hear when the air goes out in between the paper gasket and the silicone. Just going to check so that it's aligned. There you go, that one is alright, and this one's alright as well. So next step is to get the piece of paper out, and there, that one came out. And now I'm going to put the thin layer of Permatex on this side as well, because it's easier to put it on this side than actually trying to get it on down there evenly. So I put it on here instead. And since that part down there is solid steel, and that's more scratch resistant than this part, which is aluminum, So you're gonna have less scratches down on that side, so you need even less of Permatex on this side. And you have about 15 minutes before this Permatex starts to surface cure and becomes slightly hard. So that's it. This is about how much I put on. This is significantly less than a millimeter of thickness. It's just getting it black, smeared out, and then add a little bit more. And now it goes back on there. And what's important to think about now is that you place your thermostat in the right direction. The burp hole, this one, should be heading up. So when you mount it, this is how it should be sitting. You see, it needs to be pointing upwards. And it can be a little bit difficult to fit it in and have it stick in there. So you see, I can twist it and put it basically in any angle, but then I won't be able to get the air out of the system later on. There we go. So basically, you see, that's a little bit off angle, but it's still pretty straight. So now I just need to get this back on there without dropping the gasket. Here it can be good to have the bolts in as directional pins. I just screw them in by hand, and then I take the bottom one and we fit that one in, and you will feel when you're in the right spot. So I just put them hand tight now, and I'm going to wait for about 1 hour according to the instruction on the Permatex Ultra Black, and then I will torque them to the 17 Newton meter or 13 foot-pounds. So now we waited an hour, and we're at the last stage. We'll torque it to 17 Newton meter. So now we just slide these two back on here, and as you can see, this was possible to do under the belts. You don't need to remove the belts to change your thermostat on a Wrangler from 1988 with a 4.2 liter engine. So that completes this job, and as you can see down there, it's a tiny bit of silicone or Permatex coming out, but it's almost nothing. And now after 1 hour it's already set. I think you can say that it's an easy job, and if you're a beginner, you'll be able to do this in about, it took me about 3 hours to do the job. Thanks for listening. So just to show you how much of a paper gasket this actually is, I'm going to bring out the caliper, and the thickness of this one is 0.85 millimeters. Then we take this piece of paper, and this one is 0.75 millimeters. It's not going to make much of a difference, so just make a couple of copies of it, and that's what I'm going to do before I install this one, so then I can have some spare ones for the future. So that's it. And you don't want to have one which is too thin either. That's why the back of this paper booklet was good, because when you torque it, it sort of gives some kind of cushioning or flex back, so it's not straight metal to metal. Here we go. I'm going to cut them out later.